Welcome to SUTV News. I'm Reggie Van Hecke.
And I'm Kayla Butcher.
Coming up, an update at local COVID cases,
as well as a look at an exceptional Las Vegas butterfly exhibit and an update in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial.
COVID-19 cases are still ripping through southern Utah, keeping the St. George Regional Hospital above capacity in the intensive care unit. Most of the patients in the ICU continue to be incoming patients while cases are holding steady. This is causing delays in surgeries, particularly those that require intensive care post-surgery. Currently, only 44% of southern Utah is vaccinated, with weekly cases being about 1,500 per day and around 2,000 rising active cases since November 3rd.
In Las Vegas, Nevada, the Springs Preserve is an unlikely oasis in the Mojave Desert. The preserve features several events, activities, and exhibits for anyone to enjoy. One such exhibit is happening right now, and it's the butterfly habitat. Visitors have the opportunity to witness a variety of free-flying butterflies, including the blue morpho, the monarch, and the banded orange longwing. Visitors can also learn about the plants that sustain these butterflies and their important role as pollinators in the ecosystem. The Springs Preserve is on a 180-acre cultural institution designed to commemorate Las Vegas' dynamic history and to provide a vision for the sustainable future. More information about the preserve and upcoming events can be found at springspreserve.org.
Kyle Rittenhouse, who was on trial in Wisconsin for shooting at 3 people and killing 2 of them during a protest against police brutality in the town of Kenosha, about 40 miles of south of Milwaukee. The protests began August 23rd of 2020 on the 3rd day of the riots. Rittenhouse's attorney claims it was self-defense and was chased after shooting Joseph Rosenbaum. Rittenhouse fell down, then shot 2 other men, Anthony Huber and Gage Grosskreutz, who survived the shooting. Rittenhouse was arrested the next day in his hometown of Antioch, Illinois. His attorneys are saying that he was attacked by multiple protesters before his shooting. Prosecutors are trying to show that Rittenhouse was influenced by a white supremacist movement called the Proud Boys, who are known to be a violent group. During the closing argument of yesterday's hearing against District Attorney Thomas Binger held the exact gun that Rittenhouse used during the protest and pointed it at the jury and spectators with his finger on the trigger.
As exhibit number 28. I'm having the detectives check it to make sure that it is safe. The defendant comes running in and drops the fire extinguisher on the ground like this. And then raises his left hand to the gun and points. This is what we see in the video. Him putting the fire extinguisher on the ground and then raising the gun.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. He's facing the wrong direction.
That's an argument.
Okay.
I'd like to actually have, well, I'll leave it alone.
The 12-member jury has begun deliberating on the verdict of the trial at 10:30 Eastern Time this morning, which could have Rittenhouse facing life in prison if found guilty. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers said there will be at least 500 members of the National Guard ready for duty in Kenosha if needed once the verdict is released.
Oh, how do you feel about the new butterfly garden in Las Vegas?
I think butterflies are actually fantastic. I feel like, I don't know why, but for some reason, like whether it's on vacations or just things, they sort of end up like at butterfly places. And I don't really know why, but I feel like it's happened to me like a couple of times. I don't know.
Exactly, they're just so captivating.
Well, coming up, a look at SU's first in-person dance concert.
And a look at what's happening on campus.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner!
Go. Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
We're the family.
I thought you were on my team.
SU's dance program is having their first in-person concert since the COVID outbreak. Our reporter, Nick McEwen, has more.
SU's dance program is holding a fall dance concert in the Randall L. Jones Theater here on campus. Everyone has devoted 16 hours a week since early September to bring this event to life.
It's been a lot of work. Some days it's very overwhelming. Get home really late and gotta do our homework and come back and dance the next day. This year, I think the energy's really been a little off. We kind of jumped right into things without dancing in our squares, and now we can have contact, and I think that all of us had to take a minute to soak that in. But once we start dancing, it just makes everything better.
So we'll start in 25 minutes.
Danielle Sheether, who is going on 3 years teaching, is the masterful director.
I was always that kind of person that was like, okay, when I turn 30, I'm gonna go back and be a doctor of physical therapy. So I was at NYU when I turned 30, and I dropped out because I just missed dance so much. And then my mentors, I called a lot of my mentors, and they were just like, well, obviously, like, it's dance, and they were right, and I was wrong, and I'm okay to admit that. It's just an interesting sort of roundabout way, and we always hear those stories of like, I've always loved to teach, and I've always done that, and so I feel a little bit like an outsider sometimes, but I think it's something that is fills my soul, it fills my heart. Favorite thing to do is just connect students to the community outside in the professional world.
The last performance days are Friday the 12th at 7:30 and Saturday the 13th at 2 p.m. Tickets are $8 for students and $10 for general admission. For SUTV, I'm Nick McEwen.
The Thunderground Showcase is an opportunity for local musicians and artists to get their music played on the radio. I was able to take a look at this great opportunity. For most artists, getting their music played on the radio seems like some sort of far-fetched dream. But thanks to some music-loving folks over at Thunder 91, that dream might just come true.
The Thunderground Showcase is an opportunity for local musicians to get their songs played on air on Thunder 91. We like to help those local artists out so that they can get airtime, people can hear them, and so then they can get more publicity that way.
I was motivated to start this because I actually am a local musician, and I have a lot of contact with other local musicians because I'm president of the music production club here at SUU. So I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of really talented musicians, a lot of really cool people. I thought, how cool would it be to be able to reach out to the community in a way that we can feature local artists, get them some exposure.
You have to be from Southern Utah. First of all, you have to be relatively unknown. I don't know of any big artists from Southern Utah, but I mean, if there were, maybe we would put them on. I'm not sure. That's up to Ethan.
If you're a local artist that wants to get involved and get your music on the radio, you can email it to us at thunder91ksuu@gmail.com, and we can also connect you with people that can help you record your music. But yeah, don't be afraid to take the jump because we're playing all sorts of people on the radio. There are there's lots of variety, and anyone can make it on.
Thunder 91 is always looking for new artists and new music, so if you're interested, you can submit your music to thunder91ksuu@gmail.com for a chance to get some airtime. For SUTV News, I'm Reggie Van Hecke.
Chick-fil-A is still closed on campus. With meal options limited, some students are starting to get uneasy. Our reporter, Zach Stover, asked students what they thought of the current meal options on campus. Here's what they had to say.
Well, there's not any. Yeah, I don't eat out a ton, but if I do, I don't eat out around here.
I feel like there's pretty good options. Got a few restaurants, I think that's good.
I think SUU needs to have a little bit more food options, definitely in terms of vegan options. And where's the chicken?
Yeah. I feel like they're decent. I can't complain since I'm not cooking. I feel like it'd be nice to have like something healthier, I guess, because we have like Papa John's, Chick-fil-A, and then the dining hall, but then with the dining hall it's just whatever you get in there, so.
So I'm a vegetarian and I have a meal plan on campus, and my meal plan can be used across like all of them, but when I go into the dining hall, I feel like there are no options for me other than like beans and rice usually. There are no like protein options. I can either eat salad, or a lot of times I just end up making like my own kind of meal.
It's okay. There could be more, but I think it's decent right now.
SUU's food options on campus are pretty below tier.
I think everybody who's bought a meal plan, specifically for Chick-fil-A, deserves to be compensated or refunded. Yeah, honestly, like, I think it's a little bit ridiculous right now. Like, if Chick-fil-A doesn't get it together, just put someone else in there, do something. Overall, Chartwell is an absolute joke. I have to deal with finding food options for events for ISA, and Chartwell's is always our last option because they're so expensive. So, yeah.
I feel like their food options on campus are great. It's phenomenal. They've got a great menu.
Now we'll see what's next for the weather with Leighton.
I'll be telling what the weather is like this week right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to SUTV. I'm Leighton Evans. So for our weather this week, we have got today, the highest is 62 and the lowest is 27. So we are a little bit up from what we were last week, where we are a little bit warmer during the day, kind of mid-afternoon, evening, but we will be getting down lower during the night. Tomorrow, we do have 50 as our high and 26 as our low, so kind of like the same like today as well as Thursday. So we're kind of in that steady, a little bit warmer during the day and then a little bit colder at night. So if you're out at night, make sure you wear a hoodie or a jacket. But for the rest of this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we are also staying in the mid-60s, high 50s. So again, it's that same kind of thing where it's warm in the day and then cold at night. So make sure that you're wearing those jackets at night. And enjoying this nice weather while we have it. But in other cool news, according to space.com, the next eclipse of the moon will greet early risers before dawn on Friday morning, November 19th, across North America. It will be the second lunar eclipse of 2021, and in some ways will be similar to the last one on May 26th. Most North Americans will need to get up early and look low in the west toward daybreak, and again, the farther west you are, the better, as the moon will appear much higher from the western part of the continent as opposed to locations farther to the east. It will also be the longest lunar eclipse in 580 years, lasting about 3 hours, 28 minutes, and 23 seconds, and also the longest this century. So go out and check that out. But now, let's go to sports with Ryan.
Coming up on SUTV Sports, we'll look back at the last weekend's games for the SUU teams, Week 10 in the NFL, and other professional sports news. We'll see you in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. Even though we are one of the most food-rich countries in the world, 15 million children don't know where their next meal is coming from. This is unacceptable, and something the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is working to solve. Instead of accepting that our country lets billions of pounds of surplus food go to waste every year, Feeding America has made it their mission to help families in need by rescuing this food. Through food pantries and meal programs, the nationwide network of food banks provides more than 3 billion meals, serving virtually every community in the United States, including yours. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by visiting feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Welcome into SUTV Sports. I'm Ryan McCormick. It was a rough weekend for SU sports. The women's basketball team ended up falling 81-65 at UC Irvine, and the men's team lost 2 straight, first with a 83-76 loss at Dixie State last Friday, and then a loss last night 70-51 versus the St. Mary's Gales. The Lady Birds get their home opener tonight versus Utah Valley, hoping to get their first win of the season. As for the men, they'll be starting the Fort Myers tip-off tournament at and against Cal Berkeley on Thursday night. The biggest loss of the weekend for the T-Birds came on the football field to rival Weber State. With a final score of 62-0, SUU ends their season with a 1-10 record. The news that broke yesterday was that head coach Demario Warren is finally being relieved of his head coaching duties after 14 years on the Southern Utah staff, 6 of which he was the head coach. Many reactions to the mutual agreements are heartfelt, saying that Warren was one of the best people to be part of the program, and he did lead the way to a 9-3 season and a Big Sky title back in 2017. But to date, Warren has a 21-42 record, and that just isn't going to cut it for a college football program. SU's football team will have new beginnings as the school makes its transition into the Western Athletic Conference next year. Into professional sports, Week 10 of the NFL season came to a close last night with the Los Angeles Rams being upset big time on the road versus the San Francisco 49ers, 31-10. Jimmy Garoppolo was a game surgeon, completing 15 of 19 passes for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns, earning him a 95.9 quarterback rating. Deebo Samuel was doing everything for the Niners, as he had 10 total touches for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. This 40-yard TD came on 4th down, put the game completely out of reach, and both the Rams and the guy that played against me in fantasy football this week. Deebo was able to find the hole in the zone and in the middle of the field and split through the safety and the corner and burst to the end zone. They got him circled right here.
You have to play with better vision. If you're Nick Scott and you're an offside curl defender, you have to be able to make that tackle. You cannot let that out the gate.
Other Week 10 games saw the resurgence of Cam Newton. His first 2 plays back in a Panthers uniform were in goal-to-go scenarios. The first one being a QB power that he bounced to the edge for a bit of a get-big touchdown.
McCaffrey split out wide to the right. Newton takes the snap.
He enjoyed the few seconds after the score, screaming, "I'm back," to the Arizona crowd. And then the second one being a little outcut to Robbie Anderson, who scores his first touchdown since Week 6. The Panthers held on to the win 34-10 against the Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins-less Arizona Cardinals. Cam is now receiving first-team reps in practice this week and is slated to be the starter on Sunday versus the now 3-6 Washington football team, who just upset Tom Brady and the Buccaneers 29-19. This past week saw plenty of blowouts, and with the Cowboys over the Falcons 43-3 in Dan Quinn's revenge game, the Patriots stomping the Browns 45-7 with 452 total yards of offense, the Bills getting back on track 45-17 against the Jets, the Chiefs also finally looking back to normal 41-14 in Las Vegas against the Raiders, and the Packers shutting out Russell Wilson and the Seahawks 17-0. The NFL also got to see its first tie of the season, as the Pittsburgh Steelers could not score more than 16 points versus the winless Detroit Lions. The Lions could not turn either of Pittsburgh's 2 overtime fumbles into any points, resulting in this game remaining a 16-16 tie. Major League Baseball's most luscious locks will be moving across the country, as Noah Syndergaard is finalizing a 1-year, $21 million contract to play with Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, and the Los Angeles Angels. Syndergaard will look to return to pre-Tommy John form, as he's only pitched 2 innings since his 2019 surgery. With a career 3.32 ERA, Thor will hope to be one of the many answers the Angels need to get their superstar lineup back to the playoffs for the first time since 2014. Moving into the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers could be getting LeBron James back as early as this Friday against the Boston Celtics. LeBron last played November 2nd in a 119-117 win over the Houston Rockets. He has missed 9 games so far this season with a sprained ankle and an abdominal strain. The Lakers are now 8-7 following last night's 121-103 loss to DeMar DeRozan and the Chicago Bulls. Tonight's slate of games have some great matchups. First, the team with the best record in the league at 11-2, the Golden State Warriors, will be in Brooklyn to take on the 10-4 Nets. Then the 8-6 Philadelphia 76ers will be up north in Salt Lake to take on the 8-5 Jazz. And the final game of the evening will be the 4-9 San Antonio Spurs in Los Angeles to battle the 8-5 Clippers. That's all I've got for SUTV Sports. I'm Ryan McCormick, and we'll send you back to Michaela and Reggie.
Thanks for the update, Ryan. Coming up, a look at local employment options and a new form of entertainment on the rise.
As well as a look at SUU's Study Abroad program.
Awkward. Do I look familiar? I should. You might remember me from here. Here. Or maybe even here. But an awkward silence can be a great thing. It can actually be a perfect moment to reach out to a friend and ask if they're okay if they seem down. It doesn't matter how you say it.
You all right?
Everything's okay?
All G?
You all right, girl? You cool?
You bugging dog.
Just show you're there for them. Go on, Kelly. Susie awkward.
Hey, you haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
No. Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
No.
Most employees in Cedar City are SUU students. Reporter Martina Rizzotti went to Joanne, a local fabric store, to interview one of them.
We went to take a look at Joanne, a fabric and crafting store to explore all your DIY needs. Joanne supports SUU by hiring lots of students every year.
My employees, my coworkers, they're my favorite part of the job. But we really lucked out at this Joanne because I have really good management. This is actually my first job, so I don't have much to compare it to. But my other coworkers have said, and like family members that have gotten jobs have said, you know, terrible management, just makes a terrible work environment. And I've just experienced the complete opposite here. We have managers that really care about the store, making it better. Corporate usually has my manager going to other stores trying to get them in shape.
For nearly 75 years, Joanne has inspired creativity and self-expression through project supplies and craft that customers love. Shop their selection of scrapbooking products, beads, baking supplies, yarn, and more to untap your creative potential.
They always have people checking in and making sure that everything's running the same way. We can interact with other stores. They have the same policies. Everything's uniform. I think that helps it work really well.
Joanne is your one-stop shop for all your creative passions.
They encourage like colorful hair, tattoos, anything, because they want us to be able to inspire our customers and help them with their projects.
Joanne is located in Cedar City, 622 South Main Street.
How much do you know about podcasts? The new medium is sweeping through SUU, with students starting to take up their very own shows. Here's more information from reporter Skylar Jones.
Test 1 2, test 1 2, check, check.
Did you know podcasts are one of the fastest growing entertainment mediums? According to Insider, a business and marketing journal, by the year 2025, there will be over 144 million monthly podcast listeners.
Podcasting to me is interesting because, there's a lot of great things about podcasting. The storytelling, I listen to podcasts every day. And, it's appointment listening, so I can listen when I want. And that's one of the reasons that podcasts are so great. And anybody, there are some, speed bumps in the way of people starting a podcast, but ultimately anybody can do a podcast.
SUU News and Thunder 91.1 produce podcasts like Sugar and Spice, Thundercast, Cedar Break, and Dear Student. The journal and radio station are pushing for more student engagement along with new podcasts, with the completion of the new production room.
I want students to listen to Dating with Sugar and Spice and laugh. I want them to really hear stories about other students in hilarious dating situations. I want them to feel seen. I want them to feel heard. And most importantly, I want them to feel like they're not alone, because dating is crazy and everyone has a funny experience.
The journal and radio station produced podcasts can be found on SUnews.net or other streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music. In the growing industry, there's plenty of new opportunities in this developing medium. For SUTV News, I'm Skylar Jones.
A few SUU study abroad programs were canceled in the past year due to COVID-19, but SUU is now offering many study abroad programs for the upcoming 2022 year.
SUU offers many study abroad programs. This summer, for a short-term trip, SUU is taking students to Italy.
We are doing family life in Italy. It's a 2-week trip where we're actually really hitting some of the great spots of Italy, places like Florence, Venice, Rome, some places like that. But in that, we're sort of studying family life, how does it sort of operate in every sort of culture. Families sort of interact in different ways, and so we're looking specifically, in this particular European country.
This trip will run from May 30th through June 11th. It costs $3,000 to go on the study abroad program. You can earn credits in family life and human development courses while on this trip.
Italy is a wonderful place. I'm excited. This is really sort of the birthplace of just so many beautiful pieces of art and architecture and just a lot of great things. A lot of the Renaissance started there, obviously, a lot of great history. And we can look at that through a family lens, essentially. But it's really it's a beautiful place, lots of great food. We'll be doing a cooking demonstration. I plan on getting gelato in every town we're in.
To apply to this study abroad or any other study abroad programs, you can contact the Office of Learning Abroad.
November 6th, Saturday, the Storybook Parade took place down Main Street in Cedar City. Various volunteers and businesses organized their efforts and provided floats, walking characters, large balloons, marching bands, cars, and more. They enjoyed greetings from their favorite Disney princesses, superheroes, and even Santa. Cedar City's community is devoted to providing family-friendly events, and this long-standing tradition is just one of them. The Storybook Parade is the largest parade of its kind in the Intermountain West, drawing thousands of spectators each year from Cedar City and throughout the region.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Caleb.
Ad-libbing.
Oh. Yeah, see, I'm kind of sad that I didn't know about the Storybook Parade.
Yeah, I honestly had no idea. I feel like that's kind of like a major thing, and I genuinely didn't even know that was going on.
Like, I was just here, just working over the weekend, and I totally could have gone, but
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the advertising, they could have done better.
We got to see our favorite Disney princesses.
Yeah, right?
I love my Disney princesses.
Exactly. That's so unfortunate.
Oh well.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kayla Butcher.
And I'm Reggie Van Hecke. The town of Page, Arizona was hit hard with COVID and also the loss of tourists due to the low levels on Lake Powell. But the Navajo tribe is trying to get tourists back to the area. We leave you tonight with some sounds and scenes from Antelope Canyon, a world-famous tourist destination.
So this is considered to be the deepest point we have within the Lower Canyon. The average depth here is about 75 feet deep into the Slot Canyon, okay? About 75 feet, so here at the beginning of the tour, we're going to descend down about 6 flight of stairs going down, okay?